It's Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and your boy MWO. And this is our AEW edition, where we are going to talk all things Collision and Dynamite for the week of August 9, 2025. Ryan, we were gone for quite a while in AEW. We went through some things. Actually, you went through some things. Actually, I'm moving, as you can tell by the blank wall if you're watching behind me. We're going through some things, Ryan, but are you ready? You ready to get back into AEW?
I am, man. They got a big event coming up next week with Forbidden Door. I got some things I want to say about that. So let's get this party started.
Hit the music.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all Lee, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
Yeah, man, it's Forbidden Door time. And you're probably going to talk about it because I thought Forbidden Door was when like AEW wrestled like a different organization, like New Japan, and they all mash each other out because I don't know. This is like a Forbidden Door, like when I go, like, you know, the back door with my girl. It doesn't seem like the Forbidden Door, but
it should just be called Door. Yeah, they should just call it AEW Door because it is. There's nothing forbidden about it, but
or maybe there will be. All right, well, let's get into it. And let's get into Collision because it's Saturday. Oh, they don't do that anymore. Womp womp. But anyway, Collision. And Collision was filled with a certain person that I have not liked much since he's gone to AEW. And that is one Ricochet. The man, I will give him this much. He left WWE because he felt like he was just a flippity-doo-dah day kind of guy. He went to AEW, and they have been giving him promos, and now he has a faction. He is rolling with the Gates of Agony. I don't think they have a name, but he's doing his dang thing, right? I mean, he beat up a bunch of people backstage. I don't know who they were. Maybe I'm supposed to. He won a match this week. He's kind of cooking. He's getting a little bit better. I should like him. We half look alike, although I'm 2 feet taller than him. We're bald. We have beards. We both got hotties. So I'm assuming that we're kind of the same guy. But nonetheless, is he rubbing off on you now in a good way or in a bad way? Let me know. What do you think of Ricochet?
He's getting there. I wouldn't say he's quite, he's quite there yet, but he is starting to. I'm starting to like him a lot more. And I feel like he's getting to showcase exactly why he went to AEW in the first place. WWE never let him near a microphone. At the beginning of his AEW run, he probably shouldn't have been near a microphone, but now he's gotten near a microphone more often than not. And I think he's getting more and more comfortable on the mic. And I think his promos and everything are getting a little bit better. He seems that he's that dastardly chicken shit heel, which, I think he plays that really, really well. I think that's a strength of his. He's not trying to be anything that he's not. He's just he's basically a walking Napoleon complex. He talks the talk, but when it comes time to walking the walk, he can't actually do it. He backs down. He gets away. And I think I'm starting to like him a lot more than I did when he first came to AEW. And I think him working with the Gates of Agony, I think they're a work in progress, but I like that a lot more than him with, the Hurt Syndicate or him with Swerve and him with, him with the Acclaimed or any of the other groups he was trying to work with when he first got there. I think he fits in perfectly with the Gates of Agony. I think they can benefit from him and he can benefit from them. So I like this pairing, and I thought they did a good job of using Ricochet on Saturday throughout the entire episode of Collision.
Yeah, nobody was more of a hater of Ricochet since he came to AEW than I. But I always admit when I'm wrong. I'm not saying I'm wrong, but I just think it was more of he got time to talk and do things, and then all these AEW, hardcore fans were like, oh, he's the best. I think he just wasn't there, and that's what was rubbing me the wrong way. Now that he's kind of doesn't really have that hype behind him, he's just learning. I like it. We talked about it in our last episode. If you didn't check it out, our WWE edition, check it out. But we talked about Josh Briggs, and I compared it to, Roman Reigns when he first had his promo against John, and he didn't even know what he was saying, and John kept going at him. And now Roman's the guy who is the promo king and not the guy who's falling behind. Josh Briggs got laughed at on his promo, but you know what? And we were saying maybe he should never touch a mic again, but I said, we should throw him back on there. And that's kind of what I think they did with Ricochet, which the WWE is usually afraid to do, and AEW is not. It's like, for you to learn, you got to do, right? You have to continue to practice. Practice makes you better. And I think that's just proof of Ricochet right now. And giving him the leadership role with a couple guys who aren't really that big either. I think he's doing well. And you made a good point. He's a chicken shit heel. And nobody loves chicken shit heels more than MWO. So I think he is rubbing off on me a little bit. I'm like you. He ain't there yet, but I'm starting to dig him. I'm not part of the hater club anymore. And he's not running his mouth on social media that I'm hearing about either. That also turning me the wrong way because he's not at that level. He ain't Seth Rollins. Don't be running your mouth on the internet. You're not even Will Ospreay, bro. Don't run your mouth on the internet. You're not going to get away with it. But he's getting there, and I am starting to appreciate him a little bit more.
Yeah. No, I think so too. I think I feel like with AEW, I think not only did the fans rush to him and say, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever," as soon as he, held a microphone for the first time, but I think AEW did a little too much too soon. They were centerpiecing shows around him. He was getting mic time, and he wasn't quite ready for that. Now he's coming into his own. He's found his element. He's found what works, and it's working. And I think he deserves a lot of credit.
I agree. Well, something that's not working. That's what Max Caster, or maybe it is. I posted a video about him a little while back, and I got a lot of flack. People were saying that I was dumb. Max Caster's cooking. Excuse me, something in my throat. I don't know what cooking he's doing, but it ain't the kind of cooking you can eat. But basically, last week, they did kind of like a double swerve, or 2 weeks ago it was. I forget what it was, but Max kind of was – oh, no, it was last week. He didn't get finished. First time he didn't lose in his 5-minute survival with Max Caster, the greatest wrestler alive or whatever. But then Bowens came out, and then him and Bowens was kind of like turning heel, and Max was turning babyface. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then it looked like he was turning babyface. So he gets his butt whipped in 10 seconds this week to Shibata, of all people. But then Shibata shakes his hand, and then people come out and jump him, and he makes a save with Shibata. What is this like? We're failing him, so we're going to turn him into a baby face, like a sympathetic baby face. I have no idea what's going on, and I just think it gets worse. And how do you have a guy lose 75 times in a row in a 5-minute challenge, finally not lose, just to then lose instantly again? Make it make sense. I don't. Baby facer. Or
yeah, I can't make this make sense at all. I don't understand what they're doing. I think the crowd is starting to get behind him a little bit more. Like, I think they're starting to feel him a little bit with the greatest wrestler alive and doing the chant and everything. I think that part more. Yeah, that part's working, but I think it's everything else. It's the presentation. And like you said, he finally survived the challenge last week. And then this week he loses in 10 seconds. And then, Shibata helps him, but then he comes and makes the save, but yet he's still a heel and they still want him to be It's really confusing. I don't really know what the end goal is. And if you turn him babyface, is he all of a sudden going to start winning the Max Caster Open Challenge, or is he still going to lose all the time and he's going to be the lovable loser that the crowd loves? Like, I don't understand how this benefits Max Caster in any way, shape, or form.
No, because he's not a baby face either. And Bowens isn't a heel. And I don't know why they're turning him heel either, because Bowens should be he's the pride of wrestling. He's, that gay wrestler. Why is he going to be a bad guy? That's not even a good look either, turning your only gay wrestler, gay wrestler being an evil dude. I don't get it. But yeah, I don't see this turning, because then he's going to become a babyface and he'll just be a chicken shit babyface. Those won't ever turn out well. So I don't know what they're doing with him. All I know, in my opinion, their greatest tag team of all time is being wasted away. And it's sad, because Bowens goes on TikTok lives all the time, and I watch them, and he's a really cool guy, down to earth. These guys are good wrestlers, good mic guys. Like, they deserve better. The Acclaim were the biggest wrestlers in AEW for almost a year. And now Max Caster's jobbing to Shibata. I don't know. Yeah.
And for a while, I thought that this was going to bring the Acclaim back together. That's what I thought. Yes. And that certainly did not happen. And that was the only thing that made any sort of sense, in my opinion, was Like maybe this is what, it's not working for him. The pride thing's not working for Bowens. Let's go back to what works, and let's get the band back together. Let's rejuvenate the tag division, and let's get the greatest tag team ever to do it in AEW back in the tag division where they belong. And they can still do that. They have time to rectify it. But whatever they're doing now is just not working.
No, instead we're going to get Bowens versus Badass Billy Gunn at Door. So that should be good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into Dynamite. You ready?
Always. Dynamite.
Dynamite. No, it's I'm so excited. And I just can't hide.
Yeah, there you go.
Tony Khan with his main events and his theme songs. All right, so Dynamite was actually a really good episode all the way up until the main event. Solid ass show. Let's start. You know what? I'm going to start slow. Let's start with that Swerve Strickland and Okada promo. Swerve came out hurt. I guess he's hurt. I don't know. And he's I like it. Yeah, I guess he's hurt and he's not going to wrestle, but he is going to wrestle. Then Okada came out. Was it just me, or is this the first time Okada's promo was kind of like womp womp? I know he's only like one word with the bitch, but he said like a bunch of things, and I don't know if no one understood him. But it was the first time in AEW history where the crowd didn't react at all. So much so that Swerve like looked around and was like, yeah, right. And then Okada had to like say it again. Mm-hmm. It was a really awkward segment. It isn't taking me away from it because that's probably the best looking belt in all of pro wrestling. And Okada and Swerve is printing money. But this was kind of a miss for me. It was a very awkward, and then they didn't even fight. They just kind of went, and then like it was just a really weird. It's like they didn't know what they were doing. And what's Swerve injured with? Do you know? I don't.
I have no idea. I don't know what he's. I think it's probably a knee, if I had to guess, or a shoulder or something. But this was not a good. I didn't like. Why'd they turn the lights off? That's the other thing. Like, it was like they had the lights off, and I was like, okay, like, is this when they're going to bring? Is Kane going to come out? Like, are they going to bring out like the Undertaker? Like,
wow,
what are we doing here? Like, why are they turning off the lights for this? This segment was just very, very awkward. Okada, it felt like he had to say everything he had to say twice. He was like, you are not going to win my title, and why don't you go fight somebody else because you're not going to win my title. And and then even Swerve looked at, like you said, he looked around the crowd, and he even had to to get the crowd back into it. He had to drop a whose house. It's like, whose house?
Yeah.
and then Okada just said bitch like he always does, and then they started fighting. And it was just very, very awkward, very strange. And then the segment just ended, and it was like, this is the go-home show for this match is next week, and the build for this match started off solid, but now it's kind of fallen off. And I think we got Collision tomorrow. Hopefully they can keep building towards it, and they have Dynamite next week. But you gotta get me more excited than this for this match, because I think this match has the opportunity to be fantastic.
It does. The thing is, does it need the build in AEW?
Yeah, that's true.
We're going to watch it. We're going to enjoy it. But a build is good, and that's what usually lacks in AEW. I have to say, do you remember for a second when they were hinting that, like, Swerve and Nana were going to break up? I'm just so glad they did. Watching them together, I like them. I don't ever want them to break up. I want them to be together forever. Nana and Swerve just like peanut butter and jelly. They just go together.
I think they're perfect together. And don't ever break them up. Don't break them up.
Never.
The fact that we ever thought that was even an option, we should be ashamed of ourselves.
Right. All right, let's get into it else. Let's talk about something I know you want to talk about, and that is the return of Will Ospreay. Basically, he came out, and we're going to have a lights-out cage match at Door between his friends and Jon Moxley's friends. I'll let you describe it and talk about it. Go ahead, my dude.
Yeah, so Darby Allin came out with a body bag in hand and a skateboard in the other hand, and attacked the Death Riders. And then the numbers game got to Darby, and that's when Will Ospreay came out and made the save and cut a promo saying that you guys took years off my career, and I'm going to take years off of yours. I'm going to snap your neck and at Door and in a lights out cage match. And the first thing I thought of was, what the hell is a lights out cage match? Because I have no idea. Is it like they fight? Is that what the Swerve Strickland Okada segment was supposed to be? Like they turn the lights off for that and they're fighting in the dark, or is it
too early?
is it somebody they fight until somebody gets their lights knocked out, and it's like that's the only way you can win the match inside of a cage is to be TKO'd, no pun intended, or is like I didn't know what it was. And then the other thing I thought of was 3 weeks ago, Will Ospreay came out and cut a sentimental promo about how he was taking time away. He suffered a really bad neck injury, and that his career might be done, and he's going to have to slow down, and we don't know when we're going to see him again. And then he comes out the week before Forbidden Door and is like, "Hey, I'm going to wrestle at Forbidden Door, and it's going to be in a very, very dangerous match." And that was the other thing. I was just like what? Like you just came out, and whether that was real or not, I think he is battling some real life lingering injuries. But either way, like, you're gonna do that. You're gonna cut that kind of promo, and then come back and be like, "I'm gonna fight in the most vicious match that AEW has," and it's going to be a vicious match. They're going to do some crazy shit with the cage and everything. Someone's going to bleed, and probably everybody's going to bleed. But so it's Darby Allin, Will Ospreay, and then they got Hiroshi Tanahashi, I believe, involved in the match. And then Jon Moxley is seen recruiting the Young Bucks to help him with.
What was that? I thought they were with Don Callis. Now they're rolling with the Death Riders. Okay.
And how is the interviewer going to ask, "John, have you picked your team members?" Right in front of Wheeler Yuta and Claudio, and then he's like, "You know what? I'm going to go ask these guys." Like, wait, what? Like, if I'm Wheeler Yuta and I'm Claudio, I'd be like, "Dude, like, we're right here. Like, we'll fight with you." But
now they got Gabe Kidd instead, bro.
Yeah, that whole thing is strange, and maybe that's the Forbidden Door. Maybe that's they get for Gabe Kidd from New Japan to come over, and now we have a Forbidden Door. It's AEW versus New Japan, but this segment was bad. I didn't care for it. Will Ospreay wasn't gone long enough for me to care that he's back. He was only gone for a couple of weeks, and I don't know. This Forbidden Door feels like it's just in the way. Because I don't want to see Darby Allin and Will Ospreay in a tag team match. I want to see Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley, but we can't. We're not going to get that until we get to All Out. But we have to go through Forbidden Door before we get to All Out. And this pay-per-view just feels like it's in the way and it's hastily thrown together. And they're just like, okay, well, let's just do this for the sake of doing it.
They need to do like what they did with the Elimination Chamber. That was like in the middle of Mania. And it's like, what do we do? Okay, well, Elimination Chamber now will be like a number one contender for the other match for Mania. And since the Royal Rumble winner took the other belt, they got to do something like that. But I agree. Just so you know, the lights out means that it's an unsanctioned cage match, meaning that it usually happens after the pay-per-view's over. It's supposed to be like the lights are off, so it's a lights out, unsanctioned. It's
gonna open the
anything goes. It's 100% gonna open the show. The lights aren't on yet, but nonetheless, my thing is that I didn't mind. I didn't hate it as much as you did. I liked it. I like what they were doing, but you're building this Darby Mox thing so hard, and then you just have like Gabe Kidd, Kenny Omega, they're both in it. Like, why? Like, we're just the Young Bucks. The only funny part about the Young Bucks is that they were literally like in the custodian closet with two like random like wrestler A and wrestler B was like working out, and they're like, ugh, like out of the screen, and then it was just the Bucks like, what's up, man? I like that they're really diving into the whole like, you guys are just scum of the earth. I also like that that's how it works, right? Like in AEW, if you're not the EVPs, then damn it, you're in the broom closet. Like there's no like they can't just be in the they can't be in the locker room with the boys. Like, all right, cool. Like you go from like here to like.
I do like. I know we haven't talked about it for the last couple of weeks, but I have like the Young Bucks presentation. I think they've messing up their on-screen graphics on purpose, messing up their entrance, having Justin Roberts read everything verbatim, including like commas and semicolons and everything. Like he's just that's been a really fun highlight of the show for me is how are they going to butcher the Young Bucks this week? And I like what they're doing with the Young Bucks. But other than that, this match just feels completely random and thrown together. And are they still with Don Callis? Like, is Okada still with Don Callis? Like, what's going on with Don Callis? I don't understand that either.
Everybody who comes out says part of the Don Callis family now. It's like above their head. I didn't notice. I did like, though, the Young Bucks put it to Justin Roberts on, mess with them, you'll get yours. But it is definitely the most in I think the Young Bucks have been. But let's talk about something that was pretty good. And that's when MJF, they open up the show and close the show. So MJF and Hangman have a promo, and Hangman dupes them into giving up his title shot. So now it'll be MJF versus Hangman at Forbidden Door. That's going to be a big one. MJF straight out of New Japan Pro Wrestling and Hangman at AEW. I'm excited for this match. But it was good stuff. And at the end, MJF beat the snot out of him, just hinting to you that Hangman's probably going to get the upper hand at the pay-per-view. But what say you? Did you like this? What do you think about it? You vibing with it? I mean, you knew it was going to come. Did you want it at Forbidden Door? Do you think there's going to be a screwy finish so we still get it at All Out as well? Are they moving on to Darby? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I don't think this should be a one and done. And I know this is the second time they've wrestled in 2025. We were at the Revolution when they wrestled the first time. And what's funny is they opened the show in that match, in that card. And this time they're going to probably close the show at Forbidden Door. And this one's for the world title. But anytime MJF is in the world title picture, it does big numbers. He's a draw. The crowd digs it, and I think AEW's better when MJF is in the world title picture. So with that being said, I think this needs to be some sort of screwy finish, and we get a rematch at All Out, because with all the quote unquote counter programming that WWE is doing, AEW needs to put together a big time title match. And what's bigger right now in AEW than MJF? And so I think they need to do a rematch at All Out. The only thing I didn't like was that he goaded him into cashing in the contract, which, you know, like, I don't know. I wish that it was clever and it was funny and it was good the way that they did it, but I wish that he still had the contract. I wish that Hangman Page would have just given him the match somehow, some way. And then you have that plot device of, could MJF cash, like, oh, hey, you know, he just lost the match on a buckshot lariat, but after the match, MJF decides, hey, I'm going to get my rematch and I'm going to get it right here, right now. Or I'm going to cash in and All Out, and this time I'm going to win. Or, you know, but now like that plot device is gone, and it just feels like there's really nothing there. So I really hope they have a plan, but I think I love MJF in the world title picture, but I don't think he should win yet, because I think it's still Hangman's time to shine, and Hangman's coming into his own. I think his championship reign is already better than his first championship reign. So for sure, they're doing something right in the world title picture right now.
Yeah, my thing is that when did MJF become a dum-dum, and when did Hangman Page become a genius? I definitely thought if anyone was going to dupe anyone, it would have been MJF getting into Hangman's instant, you know, rage and thinking, not giving a shit, and being the cowboy shit and being like, fine, you don't want to give up your thing, I'll give you a title shot. I don't care. And you can cash in later, and I don't give shits either. I'm cowboy shit, blah, blah, blah. But instead, he duped him and then laughed at him. And MJF was like, gee, golly, Wentz hit the ropes, blah. And then he beat him up later on. But still, it was like,
MJF's always the guy that's like 3 steps ahead. And
100%.
This time it was Hangman Page. And it felt weird. It felt very weird.
It did. Not saying it's bad. It just felt weird. All right. The group is back, baby. Camera, action. What they say? What was their saying when we're
gonna
team angle
flash photography? What was it?
Yes, yeah. Oh god, we're sounding like some noobs, bro. I was in that era. I was. What happens when you get old, people? Don't. But here's the thing: to make fun of us.
But here's the thing: they like the thing I like about Cope and Edge and Christian is they broke up. And they haven't gotten back together. Like this is the first time that they broke up, that they're like since 2011 that they broke that, you know, this is the first time that they're teaming since 2011. And then before that, they actually turned on each other in 2001. So it was 10 years before they teamed again. And now it's 14 years before they team again. It's not like the Hardys who break up and feud and then they're back together. And, you know, Bully Ray and Devon over in TNA are feuding all the time. And, you know, one point Devon was in Aces and Eights in TNA, and Bully Ray was going against him, and then Bully Ray joined Aces and Eights, and you know, so these like Edge and Christian have been separated for quite a while. So I think it's common to forget that they were once one of the most entertaining groups in WWE.
Yeah, we'll break down what happened. Break down in case any viewer doesn't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so the FTR filed a restraining order against Adam Copeland, so he can't come near them, and they can't. But Adam Copeland, apparently Tony Khan can negate the restraining order, and not the police.
Yeah,
but
so.
Yeah, he was like, well, if you guys come near me and you interfere in my match, the whole thing is null and void. So he's beating up Stokely Hathaway in the match, and then finally FTR sees enough, and they interfere and they attack Cope, and he finally is able to get his hands on him, but they get the upper hand. It's 2.5 against 1, which was a funny line from Taz on commentary with Stokely Hathaway and FTR against Cope. That led to Christian Cage coming out, which he made the save and he cleared the ring, and then here came Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian to attack Christian Cage, and Adam Copeland speared Kip Sabian, and Christian Cage ran Nick Wayne off with a chair, and all this was going on, and Christian and Adam Copeland had their backs to each other, so they didn't know what was going on, and then they finally turned around and realized, oh, I've been helping him, he's been helping me, like what's going on here? And then Christian Cage handed Spike to Adam Copeland and walked away, and Copeland grabbed him by the arm and pulled him in, and they hugged it out, and Christian Cage didn't seem all that
into it,
excited about reuniting with Copeland once. I don't know. He didn't hug him. I mean, he hugged him back, and I feel like the segment should have ended there, and that's all we should have gotten. But then they go and announce that at Forbidden Door, we're getting the reunion of Cope and Cage against Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian. And the first time since 2011 that Edge and Christian are in a ring together. And I was like, why are you doing this? Because like, I understand getting them back together, but announcing it after you just said, well, Christian Cage didn't seem very excited.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like, why not drag that out another, like for a little bit, and maybe help him at Forbidden Door. I felt that this was just a little bit rushed, in my opinion, so they can get that Canadian pop. And maybe they wanted to drag it out a little bit more, but with the WWE counter programming and doing everything they can, maybe they wanted to, rush this and get tickets sold for their next biggest event of the year. So I liked it. I just wish that they didn't really. I feel like they kind of rushed it a little bit.
No, they did, but sometimes rushing's okay, right? I mean, it was fun to see. I like that Cope hugged him and that he wasn't really receptive to it. And just because they're tagging together doesn't mean they could be having conflict. Maybe they'll lose. Yeah. Can you hear me? Maybe they'll lose. Maybe they'll struggle. Maybe they'll, you know what I mean? Maybe they'll have to work hard to get there. So who knows so far? But nonetheless, they're back. They're going to continue to be back. And I do think they will be the ones, holding those belts pretty damn soon. I think it's going to be, I think this is the way they both wanted to end it. And I think this is the main 100% reason why Edge came and became Adam Copeland, because he wanted to feud with him and end with him. And, just like John Cena, he's getting what he wants, and I love it. I'm here for it. So,
yeah, no, I'm excited for it. And I think I just didn't like that they announced the match right after they're like trying to tease the story that Christian Cage really isn't all that into it. So it was just like, then why don't you maybe next week have Copeland beg him like, hey, I can't do this without you. Let's get together and let's beat these guys down. And then he accepts the match that way. And then everything's all hunky dory. But the fact that they announced it literally 5 minutes after they were like, well, Christian Cage didn't seem all that excited, just felt very, very rushed and forced. But other than that, I'm excited for them getting back together.
Well, for whatever reason, Tony Khan's always there ready to accept it's always like, oh, they just challenged. Wait a minute, Tony Khan accepted. I'm like, what the?
Has he ever turned a match down? Yeah.
Never. No, that guy is like, and he's on he must have like a green button that he just instantly hits from the back. Like, ding, 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 accept. But they did announce like 75 matches last week. They were like on Dynamite, like every segment had a match announced afterwards. But it was a good episode of Dynamite. I'm excited for Door, even though it's not what it is. And maybe we'll talk about that in our segment, which you can catch after this episode. But yeah, but with that said, AEW, man, they're not doing as much as the fanboys are saying they are, but they are on the right track. They're starting to build up. They're getting good stories, kind of. They're getting good things going on. It's fun to watch. It's entertaining. You know what I mean? So I'm having fun doing it, and I'm excited for Door, and I'm excited for next week, Collision and Dynamite. So, yeah, man, a lot of good moving parts. And we didn't talk about it at all, but Athena's killing it as well. This girl's a star. I'm saying right now she needs to beat Toni Storm. This girl is it.
Yeah.
So it is.
Yeah, strike while the iron's hot with her for sure.
100%. She is.
Yeah, she's killing it.
She really is. All right. Well, that's our episode for the week of August 9th. Thank you so much for tuning in. All you AEW fans out there, or WWE or pro wrestling fans, thank you for tuning in. As always, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like us, share us, tell your mamas and girlfriends about us, because that's who enjoys the Two Dudes. And with that said, if you just want to check me out, I'm at my_wrestling_opinion on all your social media. Hit me up in the comments and tell them how wrong I am with my predictions and theories. And with me, as always, is
Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Go follow me on all the social media platforms as well. I promise I'm going to be posting again here very shortly. And then go follow us on TikTok at Two Dudes with Attitudes. We're here on YouTube at Two Dudes with Attitudes. We're on Instagram at Two Dudes with Attitudes Podcast. And we're on X at Two Dudes PC. So go follow us there. And then if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, we are in the top 10% of all listened to pro wrestling podcasts. So we appreciate all the love and support there. Go drop us a 5-star rating and review and tell everybody about your favorite two dudes on the internet.
Two Dudes Wolfpack. We out.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all elite. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on time to lie.